Hello and welcome to Young Money. I'm Nozipho Mbanjwa. In this episode, we're going to be putting a sharp focus on the design industry in South Africa and catching up with some of the most exciting, most innovative and most creative entrepreneurs in the space. We head off to Jeppestown first, where we meet up with a team from Dokter Misses, and that is Adriaan, Hugo and Katy Taplin. And thereafter, we go to that ship-shaped building on the N1. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's called the Creative Council, and this is where we get to meet Vusani Ravele, and he is the managing craftsman behind Native Deco, and he is going to be taking us through some of the amazing products that they have brought to market. It's going to be an exciting show. Remember that if you want us to come to you, all you need to do is just follow me on Twitter. It's @TheRealNozi, and of course using the hashtag YoungMoney410, and you can tag @CNBC Africa. Let's head to Jeppestown. I'm on the couch with Adriaan, Hugo and Katy Taplin, and they are of course the brains behind Dokter Misses. It's a product design company situated in the heart of Jeppestown, although they have other outlets in other parts of the city. Let's find out what they do and how they are disrupting the design space in South Africa. Guys, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Let's maybe just start. Adriaan, what is Dokter Misses about, and what is it that you're bringing to the market that is uniquely different from whatever else already exists?
So we're a product design company. We design lights, furniture, products, different kind of things. Things that become 3D. You can touch and feel. And I think we bring a new angle to product design. I don't know how we do it, but it seems to people respond to it. It's because we're so in it that we can't really see what we're doing. But I think we're trying to be, creative and unique when with our products and how we go about designing things.
And what's the journey been like, Katy? I'm sure there have been milestones. You were established in 2007, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so it's been a good 10 years.
Yeah, so this is our 10-year anniversary, which is quite a surprise for us. It just crept up on us. It was a very organic growth through that time. I think the biggest milestone was opening our first store in 2007, 14 square meters, the two of us with designer Joe Payne, and we opened our shop with no prices. That's how excited we were about doing this thing.
It was all about just making the product.
We were about making the products, and then it's been a journey of discovery of how to make this into a business,
right?
Where it was sort of born more primarily out of passion.
So I love what you've said earlier, and you said we're all about turning products into things that you can touch and feel and actually see. Give us a sense of some of the products that you're really proud of that you've brought to market already.
So, if you look at the first range we did, it was Series A. There was very kind of like flat-looking lights and very angular, straight lines, and that was what kind of put us on the map. That we tried.
It defined our aesthetic almost.
Yeah.
Because I'm a graphic designer and Adriaan's an industrial designer, and so it was a real marrying of the two skills that we had, and I think it defined Dokter Misses as a very vibrant, graphic, strong company or aesthetic.
Yeah.
And then it's grown from there. I think we've made a lot of different things from there.
We've done furniture for schools and universities, and that's a whole different kind of thing. Like something that must last sort of 20 years, and like hardy kind of furniture. We've done that. We did a range of cabinets called the Casino Town range, and that was more focused on kind of the collectible design part of it. And what we do there is that we make pieces that we have freedom with. We hand paint it. We kind of go elaborate when it comes to the construction and elaborate when it comes to the use of material. And that one of those pieces were actually shown in the Cooper Hewitt Design Triennial in New York. That was a great thing for us. And those have traveled the world. They've been to Miami, Basel, Dubai, like all over. And I think that was one of sort of our bigger products. And Yeah, we've done lighting, tables. We've done this thing called Isabella Smart Bench, a Wi-Fi enabled smart bench. What it is, you put it up in public spaces in parks, and it's a bench where you can charge your phone, and it beams out free Wi-Fi, and it's all solar powered. So yeah, kind of anything that becomes 3D, we do.
I suppose something that's over the years that's happened is people just come to us with ideas.
Right.
So it'll be either a brief from a client, do you want to make a smart bench that's solar powered?
Yeah.
Okay. Or something that we find like some kind of real inspiration if we've traveled somewhere or we've seen something and we feel this burning desire to make something. So it can come from anywhere, but we don't limit ourselves in terms of we just do lights or we just do...
So would you say the bulk of the business is sort of a combination of responding to very specific, tailored or bespoke client requests and incorporating your own inspiration versus mass production in the market and just producing what you think is needed?
How we started off was just making stuff that we wanted to do. And that was quite a nice thing because we did it, and then it established our aesthetic and our kind of design point of view. And then people came to us because of that point of view, and asking us to design products that they would, say that bench, but from our point of view.
So there was a demand on the back of that. So I want to go back to the story of not even having the pricing model and the price tags on the items. Evolving from just love and passion for what you do to actually running a business that is, got all sorts of financial models built into it and has, marketing strategy and whatever else what has that been like? Is it easy to evolve from love into business, or is it a seamless journey that just happens?
It's not seamless. It's not seamless at all.
I think if you can maybe control your growth, it's a way that you can learn as you go, because when we started our business, we had the tools, the design tools, but maybe not the business tools.
Yeah.
And we also, I think maybe we were lucky in the fact that when we followed our gut, it was maybe the right gut to follow. But if you grow incrementally enough, you can learn as you go. I found that I needed to learn a lot as a business owner, but I think as long as you maintain your integrity or what's important to you, and you just end up wearing a million different hats in the end.
And also, we also design the business as we design a product in that way that it works for us, because we use our kind of constraints and our environment to its full potential, and we look at sort of working with technologies and things that we hack to kind of work, make our systems work. And as we go, and for me personally, that's also quite an interesting part of it. I like that designing the business or designing the supply chain or designing all those kind of things are also something that's interesting. And I think that, always go back to the thing that why you did it, the love for it.
Exactly.
It's not always that easy. I must say, you do less of it. But
with time.
But
so there are two things that are sticking out for me that I really want to get into. One of those being the rate of growth, and I'd like us to talk a little bit about that first, because one of the key things or misperceptions that entrepreneurs generally have is that you've got to grow quickly, and that is a sign of success, and that is a sign that the business is doing well. But you also run the risk of growing at a rate that isn't as actually incompatible with what you can produce, and in the process you actually do a lot of reputational damage. So do you think that your experience has shed light that you could share with other entrepreneurs watching the show, but how do you think about the growth path?
I think that is that new idea that fast growth is the way to go, especially with tech companies and those that blow up so much.
It's about exponential growth and very quickly.
And I think if you think about companies that's been around for generations, making furniture for generations or making quality shoes for generations, I think there's almost that kind of integrity that is in that company that kind of maybe gets lost, and it's something that in this modern world of moving so fast. But I think it's still got real value. People are moving away from throwaway goods and throwaway things, and I think you want to, especially when you're working with goods and things, you want to keep that integrity and yeah, it feels.
It's also formed through that growth process, I think, of a company sometimes. I think for us, it was always about trying to do the most we could with what we had.
Yeah.
So let's keep this workshop, this tiny workshop space, for as long as we possibly can and then know that we need that bigger space because our business is demanding that from us, and that we can take that leap rather than go in and have these crazy overheads and all this stress, and then that's one way to kill the passion.
Final question, because as we begin to wrap up our conversation, an answer from each of you. How do you make sure that you don't kill him, and how do you make sure that you don't kill her?
You answer first.
I don't like being told what to do.
I'm very strong-minded.
But I think we have very defined goals. Not goals, but roles.
Okay.
So I have my stuff and he has his stuff, and at least we're not.
And if he stays in his lane, then everything is fine.
Well, we collaborate, but it's like I won't get too involved in his production stuff if he doesn't get too involved. But we help each other. So rather than, and I think just support each other rather.
I think that the way I kind of deal with it is always to go back to how we started and what we did, because the best stuff comes when we work together. Like amazing stuff happens when we work together. So and that's the creative part, and that's what we love. If the like, I don't know, the business and the paying of bills, and if that comes a little bit in the way, I usually step one step back and say, okay, this is why we're doing it, and that keeps it kind of like focused, because otherwise you can get like, a bit carried away in this.
Well, there you have it. Perhaps one of the biggest things coming out of this conversation is that actually there is no 10 rules to success, especially in the context of running a business. It's really about feeling your way and ensuring that you're keeping your mind and your heart connected to the big vision, but continuing to build the business as you go along. It's been a great conversation with Adriaan and Katy. It's lovely meeting them, and of course they are really doing amazing things in the production design space in South Africa. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we're bringing you more Young Money.